Hi there. Have you wanted a pad washer ever since some savvy brands have been preaching about it, or since you've seen it used by other folks on YouTube and influencers in general, and met the same conclusions that I sort of met, which was either they're way too expensive, they seem to break a lot, or they're very DIY, and there could be some drawbacks unknown depending on how you make them. Steve's pad washer is very convenient. Is very good. It's simple functionally wise, like it's probably indestructible, but it is more manual. You have to load the detergent into the pad. You know, you still get the cleaning and drying functions that you would get out of the pad washer, but you don't get the pump action, the squirting up. And that's what I've made here. Basically, I took a Detail Guards pad washer kit that works with their grit inserts, which I already owned, and put it in a shorter bucket, and then cut a notch in that short bucket so that my polisher can fit in there and rest on the scrubbing interface. Like it's resting on it right now. Look at that. And that interface, the squirter, works just like the manual way, but I can keep my pad on the machine, so I don't have to keep ripping the pads off. And like, you know, that the way theirs works, yeah, it probably cleans it really thoroughly, but you have to take the pads off. This way you don't. And I even tested it with the thinnest pad I own, which is, I think, this Meguiar's guy. And it worked just fine. And so I'll overlay some footage of me using it now. I polished the spoiler off here and loaded it up. The in here is DIY Details Rinseless Wash, mixed at the 256:1 dilution. The nice thing about this bucket is there's a gallon scale on the side. So once you get the height set, because you do need to sort of get it at just the right amount, it's just like 1.25 gallons, it seems, about there. You put in 1.25 gallons, you put in the guard, you put in the pump. You want the water level just at the base of the top. And that'll give you a good shove of water up the middle, but nothing really on the outsides because that could hit the machine. And that seems to work just fine. And I've tested it on this. All over, if I'm not already, I'm overlaying the footage. It cleaned out the pad. The grit insert kind of keeps anything down more at the bottom versus the top half where this thing draws from. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll help. And it's a pad washer that's nowhere near as cheap as Steve's. Like Steve's is like fantastic. Like for the price, it'll clean the pad really well. You can't get any better than that for the price. You'd have to make it yourself of the stuff you have for free. But it's much cheaper than buying like a Lake Country or what have you. And I just got it set up. I've just used it once or twice so far, just tried it out, and it's working. It works just fine. Everything's solid in the bottom, the head's solid. It can, I would keep the speed really low when you're agitating on it, just because that's going to be the biggest force. But it sinks down far enough that you can lift and fling inside the bucket. And if you wanted to make a splash guard, well, you just get a lid and just cut it a bit, and then there you go. You've got a little lip around the outside. You still fit your pad through, but you've got that lip to keep that sort of spray off the walls within. So I haven't gone that far. I don't care that much, but yeah, I'm pretty impressed with this, and I was genuinely surprised as I reached out to them and asked if this could be done, and they said no. Kind of can be done. And the only delay was that they updated the design of the interface. They changed it. There's more dimples and stuff in it than previous. So I was waiting and waiting for that to show up at Carzilla, and it finally showed up. So I just ordered it like a few days ago, and I finally got the thing. So because I have been using like Tupperware to wash a pad when I use their polish, or a few others that I think play well with it. And so I've just been doing the super janky Tupperware, spread it around the machine and then fling it in a bucket. It works well enough, but I could tell the pad wasn't as clean as a proper pad washer. And this This is doing a better job. You know, it's pretty dang simple. I think the grit guards are around 22 to 24 Canadian, somewhere around there. The pad pump thing is like 64. And the bucket was $4. So you've got 88 plus 4, you get $92 Canadian to get into this. Now you have some shipping costs and taxes and stuff, and that's gonna be different depending on where you live. But that is not a bad price for a pumpable pad washer. That's pretty simple, and in a pretty compact overall footprint. Like, you can stick this in one of your wash buckets and it hides. So yeah, I know Steve's is genius because it's so simple and it's very cost effective. The Lake Country one works great, but it can, you know, can be fragile. It's expensive to buy. There's maintenance and there's a lot more moving parts with that. This is much more simple mechanism. It's just a straight plunger submerged in the liquid. It's quite simple. And I think the price to performance ratio is quite good on this, at least for me, for my use. Like, you know, if you're in a proper shop and you're charging people for your time and your expenses, then yeah, the Lake Country might make more sense for a shop like that. But I found, as a home gamer that doesn't do this that often, I couldn't justify that, and I can still use this pump mechanism to clean out a wash mitt or a sponge. Like, it can still be used to clean a whole bunch of other things in a solution. So it has more than just one use for me, and the cost is still very low. So overall, I found that was more justifiable. So yeah, this, if you are looking for another option in the homebrew-ish, this is pretty un-homebrew, but an alternative pad cleaning materials and interface, give it a shot. If you've got the inserts, you're already halfway there. You just need a bucket, which is sold at Home Depot, and then the plunger thing. So yeah, pretty straightforward, pretty easy to put together. All you gotta do is get some cutters or a saw or however you want to go about this. Just notch this down. Depending on your polisher, maybe you have to notch it too, but you still have that reinforcement, so it's still strong. So you don't have to worry about it weakening it. You're just taking out a little bit. You don't have to go any further than that. So yeah, anyway, there you go. Pad washer for the people. Again, yeah, there's a patent pending, copyright on the name, the Body of Water Continent 4001. That's mine. You can't have it. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you in the next one.